Hello there, Michelle G here, Bendy Stitchy. Today is June 28th. My pronouns are she, her, and this is my Flosstube video. It's coffee. So it's been 2 weeks again since I last filmed. This fortnightly schedule is really working out for me, so thank you for coming along on that journey. Out of the last 14 days since the last time I filmed, I did have 10 stitching days. I'm looking over here at my Notion. If you don't use Notion, it's an app. It's an app that you can put on your phone and on your computer. It's a website. And my friend Stitchy, she has a cross stitch planner for Notion. She has a Flosstube planner. She has cross stitch Monopoly. She has Pick-a-Whip. She has swap and sale planner. She has a retreat planner. She has everything that you could possibly need. So I will actually fake type that in right now. So that I remember to link it down below. I have so much. So 10 stitching days, 6,400, almost 6,500 stitches, 32 or so hours of stitching, and also a retreat. So tons of progress, so many fully finished items. Let me start with this. So I was at the Stitch and Stash retreat in Edmonton, Alberta, Ontario, Canada. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Last weekend. I was there with some of my friends, and the women who run that retreat are Jean and Kelly. They're a couple of Edmonton stitchers who wanted more events in their area, and they looked around a little bit, didn't see any, and said, I'll do it. And they run a really good retreat. It was, I think, Stitch and Stash Edmonton is the perfect balance of stuff to do. Like they had classes. I taught a class. They had classes to do and giveaways. I won a giveaway. Wait till you see it. It's crazy. There's a woman who donated 30 mini quilts. And I won one, and it's magnifique. It's beautiful. But I will link. Stitch and Stash has a Facebook page, and that's how you find out about their stuff. They have a cruise coming up in November that still has some spots left, and their Stitch and Stash retreat in June next year is Halloween themed. Anyway, so all of that to say, I did a lot of journaling this past weekend. I spent the whole first day of the retreat. Also, the retreat is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is the longest retreat I've ever been to. Really, really 12 out of 10. Like, I had such a good time. I taught a class on making a cross-stitch journal. So this is the journal that we made. We actually made it. Like we sewed it together. My sewing is covered up because but see, we sewed it together on the inside. We made our little signature. We made our little cover. And so many people did so much great decorating on that. I'll show mine later, but it's not much. But I didn't have a ton of people registered for the class at the beginning of the weekend. So I spent the whole first day of the retreat making journal pages. And then when people would walk by my table, I would be like, this is what we're going to learn to do in my class. So this is actually a journal that I got in a Halloween swap. Someone stitched this Quirky Quaker cauldron for me and put it on the front of the journal. So I just decided this is obviously my Quirky Quaker journal. So I put in Flosstube at Sea 2024. This is Quirky Quaker Stingray. So Deanna, Darling and Whimsy. This is a whole Darling and Whimsy journal. If you want to start a journal, you can go on Darling and Whimsy, Deanna's Etsy, and you can actually buy, she has a journal starter kit that has this journal in it. It's just a simple, nice, easy, no fuss, no muss, low risk entry, plus a lot of ephemera too. Ephemera is the stuff that we glue onto the pages. You can get it right on her Etsy if you're like, hey, I want to start that, but I don't have anything at home to start it with. Deanna's got you. So Flosstube at Sea, Quirky Quaker Stingray. She actually designed Quirky Quaker Stingray for me for Flosstube at Sea and then released it later, which I love her because I just asked her to do a free thing and she did it. Quirky Quaker Octopus. I did change this up and make it a blue ringed octopus. I love some of these pages are in various stages of completion, right? I didn't finish them all. Finish them all. Quirky Quaker Snowfolk. I put both of them on there. That one could use more zhuzhing. More is more, I say. Quirky Quaker Cardinal. I finished all of these at retreat. Quirky Quaker Sheep. I made mine a black sheep, of course. I think this is one of my favorite pages that I made this past weekend. I don't know. I love so many of these so much. Quirky Quaker Cow. This one might still need more stuff, but I try to leave a space that I could write in, like started, finished, etc. Quirky Quaker Frog. This one got out of hand. I don't know what's going on with all that washi tape. But you know what's great about these pages is if you don't love what happened, you just put more shit on top of it. It's fine. No, I love this one. Quirky Quaker Flamingo. So this right here, this background with these on it was actually a bag that we got from the retreat. The theme of Stitch and Stash this year was stitching at the beach. Chillin' at the beach. This was the, hold on. This was the card. Welcome, let's get chillin' at the beach. So this right here was a bag that we got some goodies in. This was a table decoration that Megan, oh Captain, my Captain, made me steal and put in the journal. And these little charms they were stitch markers that came in our goodie bag, but I just glued them to the page because why not, eh? Quirky Quaker Bunny. I made mine a chocolate bunny. And you can see on the bottom of these pages, I use a lot of the leftover linen from other Quirky Quakers. Like this is the rabbit hole. I'm going to have to explain that every time, but there it is. And then here's all my other ones that still need to be put in there. And I don't know why, but I skipped a page. This is Quirky Quaker Llama. And I do want to find something on the interwebs and print it out because I stitched this llama, red pajama. Couldn't sleep so, called his mama. If you don't know Llama Red Pajama, it's a kid's book. But if you look up Llama Red Pajama Wrap on YouTube, you will not regret that. You might actually regret that because it'll be in your head forever. But I stitched this with Gentle Arts wools because it's a llama and he's in red pajamas. So llama, red pajama. Anyway, so I fully finished all of those in one day at retreat, which is why I love journal finishing. And you can see I finished about 11. I have about 11 more to finish. It's great. I have one more finish. I have two more finishes. One is mine. One is not mine. Let me show you mine first. Where is it? This was so much fun. This is, I have to put away some DMC. I'm kind of sad that it's finished. This is Wings of Spring Sal from Pony Stitches, Velvet Pony. Isn't it pretty? I love it. So this was the last part. It was part 6. This was a 6-part stitch along that came out every 2 weeks. And I have to say, I love that pacing because it took 12 weeks to finish. So 3 months we were working on this and the parts were just, that's okay. The parts were just big enough that I could finish them easily within the 2 weeks and then have other things to stitch. Even when I got behind on this Sal, I was able to easily catch up. I think I did parts 2, 3, and 4 all at the same time. This was 2, 3, and 4 all at the same time and caught up and then had more stitching. I stitched on other things before part 5 came out, but I love this and it's fully released now, so it's available. You can go buy it from Velvet Pony. Mila asked me if I wanted to join the Sal and she sent me the files for free, so I super appreciate that. But I feel like I'm all in on the next one. I feel like I had so much fun. So I'm looking forward to her next one. And I think I'm going to frame it because I have one of my walls in my office at work is painted blue. And so on the blue wall, I hang things that are predominantly pink in their stitching. And on the white wall, I hang things that are predominantly blue. So it kind of like pulls the paint over. And I think this would be perfect up on that wall. So that was my finish. And then my friend Trina had a finish of a model stitch for me. And this will be released at Needlework Marketplace or Needlework Expo. I forget what it's called now. I think it's called Needlework Marketplace. It's the online show that happens in August. I'm really hoping that there's less drama and more sales this year than there was last year because people, can we please support the online needlework shows? Like, no show is perfect, But the online shows are so much more accessible. And the shops didn't turn out last year like we wanted them to turn out. The designers were there, but the shops just didn't turn out. And you don't even have to freaking go anywhere. You shop from your home or from your shop. All you have to have is time to put into it, right? So please, please encourage your needlework shops, both your online needlework shops and your brick and mortars, to register as a buyer at Needlework Marketplace in August and go buy shit from us, because we want the online shows to flourish. They make stitching more accessible. It's not advertised very well, and that sucks, but please just call your shop and be like, hey, are you going to Needlework Marketplace? I'm really interested in XYZ. We send them the emails. We do all the things. Anyway, this will be one of my releases. I'm going to get off my soapbox, but I'm only like 1 foot off my soapbox because I'm feeling a little soapboxy today. You're warned. If you're new here, welcome. I sometimes like a soapbox. And if you're not new here, you know. This is Trina. My friend Trina just finished model stitching this for me. I gave this to her when we were roommates at Stitch North in May. And Cheryl, Tiny Modernist, was at the Stitch and Stash retreat. Love her. She's so cool. Anyway. I love Cheryl. She knows. It's not creepy. This is my chaos sampler. This sampler is so fun because it's just pieces from all of my other charts. Most of them have been released. I think one of them hasn't been released. It's pieces from all of my other charts, and I just smashed them together. I actually designed this on a live stream on Twitch, and I called it the chaos sampler. It says, embrace the chaos. You have to it's chaotic the way that it's written. This is my design number 100. It's done on 16 count Aida in ballet slipper from Fox and Rabbit. And it uses the Moo the Merrier floss pack of Sulky's. So the Moo the Merrier floss pack from Sulky, it came out at market, I think 2022. And a bunch of us designed cows that year, and we used a 12 floss pack from Sulky. It was kind of the precursor to X Stitch the Rainbow. The following year, X Stitch the Rainbow got more formal and it got more contained. And it's become, it's evolved into this beautiful thing that it is now, and I love it. This was the very beginning. And 12 Sulkies is a lot. That's a lot of floss, and it's a decent amount of money to spend. It's close to $50 American to buy a 12 pack of Sulky. So I just keep using it. So my first design was Thistle, the Highland Coo, for the Moo the Merrier. Let me just take you on a little, I don't have that much to talk about, right? I have a lot to talk about. So hold on, let me scroll back. This is my Bendy Stitchy Designs account. So most of my designs are up on this account. I don't always remember to put all of them up here. Hopefully Thistle's up here, because I was better at it in the beginning, and now I kind of it's whatever. So this is Thistle, the Highland Coo. She was my entry for the Moo the Merrier floss pack. Here's the Sulkies, right? Some of them. I think Thistle used all the colors in the pack. So the idea was you buy this one floss pack, you get all the colors. It's just like X Stitch the Rainbow, right? That was we did that at Needlework Expo. So I did Thistle. And then I did, where are you, Cleopatra? Then I did Cleopatra. I don't think I posted her. And then I designed this. This is Flamingo Duo. I designed this in Roxy Floss Co. This is available at Evertote, the floss pack. But then when I re-released my Punk Flamingo, I reworked Punk Flamingo to use this same floss pack for the Moo the Merrier. And then this little freebie that I did at Market, Take Up Space, also uses the floss pack. Queen Bee also uses the floss pack. My whole Animals in Clothes series will all use the Moo the Merrier floss pack. And I think that's where we are with this. So I don't have a picture of Cleopatra up on my Instagram, which is wild. But since Thistle the Highland Coo, I've designed Thistle, Cleopatra, Punk Flamingo, that little Market freebie. I have Axolotl. I have an axolotl coming out who's playing a saxophone. It's called Saxolotl. You're welcome. and this. So I have 5 full charts, I think, and a freebie that used the floss pack. I'm just going to keep using it until my floss pack runs out. So this will be available at Needlework Marketplace in August. It'll be released. Okay. That's all for the finishes, I believe. The finishes and fully finishes, mine and other people's. And now let's talk about things that I worked on. So the only things that I took to retreat were my Monopoly pulls. So I knew that I was going to end up stitching on Monopoly things at retreat because they got called. I was like coming up on my turn, right? So I pre-rolled. And if you don't know Stitching Monopoly, it's hosted over on Discord. I used to say it's hosted by Steph, Vintage So Gal, and Sammy J, but there's so many hosts now. Nati is helping, Kat Yoy is helping. I can't even name them all. So many hosts because it's gotten so big. I'm playing 2 boards. And one of my boards, the idea is you make a list of 22 whips and you go around a Monopoly board and you stitch on what you stitch on, right? That's the gist. One of my whips was this Walk Fast Sampler. This got called. This is one of my oldest whips. I started that in 2020, I believe. And I did a full stitch from stash conversion. So there's my conversion. It's very organized. And I don't remember how many stitches I was meant to put in on this. 400 something. I don't know. But when I started stitching on this, I had this pink guy and like this much of the leash for the fish. So now I have more of the fish leash, a little bit of the hand, and 2.5 more doodads, which is not a ton of progress, but when I tell you I haven't worked on this since 2020, December 31st, 2020, I think is when I started this. This is on 40 count rusty nail linen from Kitten Stitcher, and it's absolutely uncalled for conversion. So I stitched on that for one day, and I put in my Monopoly stitches. I'll stitch on this more. Oh, and I put this doodad in that you almost can't see on camera, but I can see it very well IRL. So the colors are not true to the called for. Like this blue here is not a true conversion of, this is actually like a samplery green, kind of goldy green color, kind of like 832 in the called for, but the whole border is done in this color, and I just wanted it to be prettier than that. So I changed it to blue. And so now the fish will be green and blue. I'm really excited. This is my Betty White sampler. I started it right after Betty White passed away. In memoriam. So that was my first whip that I worked on at Stitch from Stash. And my second whip that I worked on Stitch from Stash is this Modern Folk Embroidery Namarie tapestry. Again, I had only worked on this like twice since I started it. And I just couldn't figure out why I didn't like stitching on it. I just didn't like stitching on it, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. But I will tell you that now I love stitching on it. I'm obsessed with this thing. And I was going to stitch it because I stitched my aunt and uncle who lived in Port Townsend. My aunt still lives there, but my uncle passed away in February. I stitched my aunt one of the Dimensions ladies, Woodland Enchantress. If you've seen it, you know. If not, I'm pulling it up right now. It's from the Cross Stitch Gold Collection. This Woodland Enchantress. I stitched this. It's a Dimensions kit for my aunt and gave it to her unframed. She had it framed and she hung it up in their house. And she has it. So I was going to stitch Namarie tapestry for my uncle. But the trouble is you think you have time, right? So I started it. I had done some of this snake dragon and a little bit of this border here. That's all I had done. And then I put it down and then I didn't get it out again for a really long time. And I am stitching this with DMC 3371 because I have a small cone of it. And then I'm using Treenway Silks Munstead wood, which is a beautiful, like, kind of like a magenta to purple to a little bit of an orange. Can't really see it very well. There we go. There it is. It's like a beautiful magenta to purple to a little bit of an orange. There, that's it. That's the color. And then I decided at retreat that I wanted to throw in a third color, and I had my Stitch It For Me project with me. So I grabbed this, which is an old Needle Necessities. Which Needle Necessities, if you have any Needle Necessities in your stash and you don't know, it's Threadworks now. And when Threadworks took over Needle Necessities, they took over all of the formulas. So this is a little cat chewed, but I think I can figure out what color it is. It ends in 40, so I can narrow it down and figure it out. But now my Namari tapestry has 3 colors on it, and I'm so happy with it. And yes, I am prattling along and not showing it because I'm trying to also empty the bag at the same time so I can put the stuff away. So this is stitched on a piece of 36 count linen from Jessie at Mislaid Pages. It's called Red Hawk. Red Tail. It's called Red Tail, like a red-tailed hawk. And this is where I am. Can you believe? First of all, what? So when I started at retreat, I had most of this line here down the edge, some of this line across the bottom, and I had like a little bit of this swirlies. I maybe had like this much in the corner, and then like some of these dots. So I stitched a lot of stitches. I went from like whatever 1% I might have had done to now I'm almost at 20% finished with this. I'm at 18%, I think. But you can see, so I have one swan completely done. I'm going to do the swan's eye in a different color. I think I might do it in the brown. And then I'm using Munstead wood for the baubles here, and I'm going to use Munstead wood for the words, and I'm making this over here white. So what I decided to do, since I was going to gift this to my uncle, but he's passed away now, I'm going to make it a memorial sampler for him. So I reworked the top of this tree right here. It's supposed to have like more branches in the middle. I'm going to put his initials right there. And it's not, so this is me geeking out at the airport on the way back from Stitch and Stash retreat. Jacob actually charted a whole saying on here in Elvish, in the Elvish script. And so I looked up what MJF is, because he was Michael James Farrell. I looked up what MJF is in Elvish, and so my thoughts were, write MJF in actual Elvish, or write MJF in script that looks like Elvish, but that I could identify as MJF. So I went for the second one. So the initials aren't going to be actual Elvish. They're just going to be the script. And then I think here and here, I'm going to put his dates of birth and death. So 1951 and 2025. So he was young. But before I even came up with the idea to make it a memorial sampler for my uncle, I was already re-obsessed with this. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm obsessed with this piece. Jacob absolutely knocked it out of the park. This is an Elvish sampler, and I'm doing it in total Gimli colors. There is actually a Dwarvish sampler, and if I stitch that one, I will do it in Legolas colors, because those two, they're in love. Like, I know Tariel burned Legolas. I know she did. And Legolas and Gimli are boyfriends, and that is a hill I will die on. Watch the movies again with that in your head. If you haven't had that thought yet, watch them again with that in your head, and you will see what I mean. They're boyfriends. Even if they're not, in all seriousness, platonic love is just as important as romantic love. So, all right. So, the other things that I worked on when I got back from retreat, I wasn't able to work on this at retreat because I didn't take it with me, but then I got another Monopoly spin. This is my 2 years of tours bell pull. And I know you get excited when I talk about this because I just go off I'll try not to go off about the tours this year. But this is actually So when this is done, this is a long piece of fabric from Kaylee's Cross Stitch. She's the sewing shop in Canada. You should buy her bags and her fabric. When this is finished, it will be at least 6 repetitions of Birdie, Vierland Sisters 1 from Stitchy Box. Liz at Stitchy Box has 6, I think. 5 or 6 Vierland Sisters samplers. And Birdie is number 1. And this right here is the completed Birdie. So from this top line of crowns to this bottom line of yellow, that's Birdie, completed times 1. I changed, this is meant to be an alphabet, and I made it say Tour de France, Tadej Pogačar. And then Birdie actually says Anno 2012, I think, but I changed it to Anno 2024. So this is the 2024 Tour de France, Tadej Pogačar won. And then down here, there's 4 jerseys in each. Just bear with me. There's 4 jerseys in each Grand Tour. So Tadej Pogačar won the yellow jersey in Le Tour de France 2024, which is the main winner. And then, Richard Carapaz won the red polka dot jersey, which is the King of the Mountains. Biniam Girmay won the green jersey, which is the points jersey, which means he was the best overall sprinter. It's supposed to be for the most consistent rider, but it's really the sprinter's jersey now. And then Remco Evenepoel won the white jersey. You can see that there's stitching down there. I can see that it says R. Evenepoel, but you can't. But it's meant for me to see. He won the white jersey, which was the best young rider. It goes to the rider under, I think, 23 with the fastest time. This is the Giro d'Italia 2024. That's pink. Tadej Pogačar also won that. So I'll put his name. You can see on here, I'm right here. So after I finish this row, I'll put Giro d'Italia, Tadej Pogačar, and it says Anno 2024. The other jerseys were Tadej Pogačar. He won the mountains. Jonathan Milian, he won the Maglia Ciclamino, which is the same as the green jersey. And Anthony Tiberi won the best young rider. They all have a best young rider. But what I've been working on, now that we've had our history lesson and you're caught up, what I've been working on is La Vuelta 2024. So each year, there's 3 Grand Tours. There's so many bike races each year, like lots of them. And there's a lot of Tours D, right? Like there's a lot of tours, Tour de Suisse, Tour of the Netherlands, Tour of Australia, so many tours. These 3 are considered the Grand Tours because they last for 3 weeks. So these are really bike races of attrition. These men ride their bikes for upwards of 50 hours over the course of 3 weeks. Like maybe even more than that. Maybe, I don't even know how many hours. Thousands of kilometers and thousands of meters of elevation. So lately I've been working on La Vuelta a España. Each year, the Giro is first, then the Tour de France, and then La Vuelta in Spain. La Vuelta is red for the leader's jersey. Primož Roglič won La Vuelta a España in 2024. So I am through stage 1, 2. This is stage 13. So 13 was won by Michael Woods, and he rides for Premier Tech, the team. So that's what his jersey looks like. So I have to finish this row and this row for La Vuelta, and then I have to put in the doodads and the other leaders. And then I have to finish the Giro 2024. This is my first one. I just have to finish up above. So I have like this part up here, and I have this part down here. And then La Vuelta the Giro 2025 has already gone. So then I have this Giro. I have to stitch Birdie again down here. Adam Yates won that, which I love. I love Mia Yatesy. There's 2 of them. They're twins, Adam and Simon. They ride for different teams. It's very dramatic. I love it all. Le Tour de France 2025 starts in about a month. So could I, taking away like this, I can catch up later. Could I finish La Vuelta, stitch the Giro 2025, and get ready to start Le Tour? I mean, I could. Am I going to? Probably not. Would I like to try? Yeah, I'd like to try. I'd like to do so many things. But you'll see in the plan section, I actually have a lot of plans. So, but that was what I worked on the last 2 days because it came up. I rolled doubles in Monopoly, and the first roll actually called this, and the second roll said stitch on any Sal, and I'm always salling that with my friend Christina, because Christina loves the writing even more than I do. I did work on my friend Michelle's Stitch It For Me in at Stitch from Stash. So I actually have, this is my Notion template. I have an entry in my Notion template for my 2025 Stitch It For Me. And this is how I track stitches that I've put in on other people's projects in this year. Other people's Stitch It For Me projects, not round robins. I track those differently. So I stitched Michelle's Stitch It For Me, and this is the progress that I got done. So I stitched with this color thread over here, and these are the stitches I put in on her project. This is a Liz Matthews, I think it's is it Geese Laying? This is one of the Liz Matthews pieces from her Christmas series, her 12 Days of Christmas. But this is what I put in at the Stitch from Stash Retreat. Stitch and Stash Retreat. It's certainly not a Stitch from Stash Retreat. If I call it that, call me out, because it's not that. So that was the stitches I put in on someone else's project. I also had other people stitch on my Stitch It For Me project at Retreat. So if you haven't heard me talk about a Stitch It For Me project, that's a project that a few people have them, not everyone. A lot of people are using 324 for their Stitch It For Me from Works by ABC, which is a great Stitch It For Me because it has all those little motifs, right? One motif and you're done. Mine's a little wilder than that. It's called PA Pocket 1850 from Threads of Gold. So that's, first of all, I picked it up off a freebie table because I thought it was absolutely wild. This is how I ask people to record what they've done. They highlight or circle the part that they did and put their name on it. I can't always read all of the names, but it doesn't matter. So this is where my crazy project is right now. Isn't that chaos? I love that. So what I do is I take a bunch of floss with me in a project bag, and I say, just pick your floss, pick any floss you want. Do not put it back once you take it out, and stitch 10 stitches, stitch 2 stitches, stitch however many you want. A lot of people will do like one flower petal or one line. Some lucky person did that chicken. But I just love how chaotic this is getting. And there's mistakes all in it, and who cares? But this is stitched on 18 count Aida in the colorway Peach of My Heart from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. So it's just so weird, right? Like, that's weird. That's just weird. And I like it. I like it a lot, actually. So I need to take a picture of that and put it in my Notion. I haven't updated that yet in my Notion. I don't count stitches on that one, so I don't know how many people or how many stitches people have put on that. I wonder if this is also, I wonder if this is the same color as my other Needle Necessities. I'm gonna match this up. This might be a second skein. It might be close enough, actually, for my Namarie. Okay, cool. But see, I have all kinds of floss in here. I have Needle Necessities. I have Fangirl Fiber Silks. I have Glorianas. I have Gentle Arts. There's a lot of same colors now. A lot of people are not picking the browns, so I need to refresh this. But I have a bunch of DMCs in here, a sulky, some overdyed. I need to refresh the bag. It's looking a little picked through. But that's actually what I like about this project is I put all of my extra quote unquote flosses in here, the ones that I'm not reaching for or I won't use. And then they get used on my project, and then people just take them, which is nice. I did lose the needle. I don't know where that went, but that's okay. Oh, I'm gonna have to do some cleaning up after this video. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. So Wings of Spring, Walk Fast Sampler, Stitch It For Me, Namarie, Birdie, PA Pocket. That's all for what I worked on. Now let's talk plans. So I have three pieces of obligation stitching that need to get done. The first ones are, well, probably the first ones that I'm going to do are round robins from the Most Iconic Ink Circles Round Robin. So this first one is cinnamon and honey. This is a tiny ink circles, cinnamon and honey. Whoops. Oh, Rose is asking for apps. And this is stitched all in DMC. And all the DMC is here. So I don't think this will take that long. It looks so small, but I think it's on like an 18 count Aida, which is why it looks so small. Maybe it's on a 16 count because we're using 2 strands, I think. But look at these little bees. Do you see them? They're so cute. So yeah, my section of this is like 50 by 50. So I could finish this just today. And I think I'll go for that. Just so that I can get it back in circulation, get it on the road, as it were. I've had it for a couple weeks now because I showed it last time. So I might have had this for 3 weeks, which is kind of a long time. So I'll stitch on that one. And then Michelle passed this one to me at Stitch North. If I were planning ahead more, I would have taken cinnamon and honey and passed it to Michelle, and then she could have finished it off. But this is Ink Circles Sea Dragons, Elemental Dragons Water. And this is done in DMC 4240. Look how pretty that is. And wait till you see. The fabric is beautiful. The floss is beautiful. It just goes together so well. I don't know whose piece this is. Whoops. There's stickers. Oh. Please add your initials to your section if you would like. So Jen and Michelle have stitched on this. I don't know whose piece it is, but it doesn't matter because we have a spreadsheet for that. But here is what it looks like now. So again, this would be like a 55 by 55 stitch. And this person divided it into triangles. So we're stitching a triangle at a time. Like boop, boop, boop. So that we get to stitch whole dragons and not like cut off their tails, right? So that's really pretty. Isn't that pretty? That's really pretty. I don't know. They might have dyed their own Aida for this. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous. So those are pretty small. Tomorrow's supposed to be like 90 degrees here. And I think I'll be able to knock both of those out hopefully tomorrow and get them back into circulation. So that's the plan for this weekend. I'd like to get some obligation stitching done. And then I have one more Monopoly pull. And this time from Monopoly, I spun 2020 Pandemic Sampler. This is from Sarcy Girl. I am stitching this in, I think this is a 40 count Shrinking Violet linen. I think it's called Shrinking Violet from Kitten Stitcher. And this is all done in a Mrs. Sadis Silks conversion. So it's charted in DMC, done in Mrs. Sadis Silks. This is actually a joy to stitch. This is a big sampler. But the border is super regular. Once you get the hang of the border, you don't have to think about it. It's just like no counting. This house is a beast, and I have one more house over here. But you can see I'm halfway done. I'm halfway done with this thing. Which I should be, because I started it 5 years ago. March 2020, I started this. So I would like this one to not have another birthday. But the only whips I have left are big whips, right? Anything small that I have that's actually like attainable is mostly finished now. But I would like to stitch on this more because it's pretty. There's just a lot of fun little motifs. I did Strand a Day September for this last year, and I got almost all of this done during Strand a Day September, which was nice. That was good progress. But so this I will pick up. I have to put 300 stitches on this for Monopoly. I might do this first today just so the next person can take their turn. And then I'll knock out the 2 round robins, and then I'll come back to this. Because my goal lately, what I've been doing, the reason I got so much work done on Namarie is I have been stitching on, like this is my current Monopoly call. I've been stitching on my current Monopoly call until the next call. And I really do get a lot of progress that way. So we'll see. Am I going to finish all of these this year? They're all part of my year of whips. No, I am not. Spoiler alert. But it won't be for lack of trying. It won't be for lack of stitching. That's for sure. All right. So those are my plans. Talked about Trina. Talked about that. Okay. let me do the giveaway for this week. So this is the giveaway for this week. This is Needle Bling Designs. It's called Be Proud. Be Proud. And I think this is great because June is Pride. And I know the flag is patriotic, but it would be so easy to convert that to a pride flag, right? Anytime you see a flag on a project and you think, ugh, too patriotic, it's a pride flag. Just make it a pride flag. It's stripes, but different colors. So hashtag make it a pride flag should be a thing. And then be proud has a whole different, more funner connotation. So I will link a new Google form down below. If you can't fill out the Google form because it tells you you've already filled it out, just let me know and I'll put your name in manually. But don't like get bent out of shape about it, right? Because if you go to fill out a Google form for someone else to send you something for free, and then you get mad that you can't fill out the Google form, and you get accusatory, and you get attacking, that person is not going to put your name down to win that shit. I will guarantee you. So please just be nice. Tell me that you can't fill it out, but don't be a dick. All right, should we talk about the retreat? You're probably sitting there going, I can't believe you had to say that. Ask me why I had to say that. All right. Stitch and Stash Edmonton. Fantastic retreat. Amazing swag bag. Fun people. And the hits just kept on coming. Like, they let us open the swag bag. Everything was on the ground. They let us open the swag bag, and then they just kept bringing around more stuff throughout the weekend. So let's start with the swag bag. And this is, hopefully I remember what all came in the swag bag and what I bought, because there's a little bit of both. So let me I'll do swag bag and then gifts that they gave us later and then things that I bought. What's this? Oh. And then this is the ad. This is the ad for next year. It's a Halloween. So thank you. They said, thank you for chilling at the beach. It's always so spooktacular to be able to stitch. Please plan to return to Edmonton June 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st, 2026 for a Hocus Pocus filled weekend. The theme for this retreat will be Halloween Haunts. Halloween Haunts. And there's details and registration on the Facebook page. So you got to join the Facebook page if you want the deets. All right, I'm almost done. I'm almost done taking things out of here. Goodness gracious. I think they gave us this. Pink lemonade, low-calorie drink mix. They wanted us to stay hydrated. Okay. All right, so in the swag bag, when we opened it up, we got Kelly, who was one of the hosts, made everyone a cute little Biscornu-shaped pincushion. It's not true Biscornu, I guess. It's more of like, that's cute. Anyway, that's really cute. And then we also got grime guards that matched them. And I'll be honest, I don't use grime guards as much as I used to, but I'm now reminded of how nice they are to use, because when you have extra fabric on your whip, this grime guard will hold the extra fabric. So it just goes around your Q-snap or your nurge and it holds the extra fabric. And these two coordinate. Some people had matchings and some people had coordinatings. Mine coordinated. Everyone got this cute little glasses case. Someone crocheted all of these. I forgot this woman's name. So many items in the swag bag were made times 125 and donated to the retreat. Because Kelly and Jean don't do this to make money. They do this to have a retreat in their area. So look how sweet that is. I should actually use this for my glasses instead of using my... Look how cute. I can't see anything now though. Hold on. Okay. So that was fun. This was in there. Stitch and Stash. This is from Creations by Cheryl. And they had all different kinds of motifs on them. And then you got a scissor fob / zipper pull that matched. So this little scissor fob, I don't know if you can see it, has a little crabby crab on it. And there's instructions here to use your floss organizer. Also, to use your floss organizer, run a piece of masking or painter's tape on the side and label each hole with your floss number. Attach floss using the loop method. Remove when your project is complete and reuse. Nice. There's a private Facebook group called Cute as a Button Needle Minders. And that is a great place to get needle minders in Canada. I have to tell you, Cheryl's needle minders are cute. All the vendors were so nice, too. And then in every swag bag, Cheryl at Tiny Modernist gave us a chart. You either got a Stitcher's Garden or you got Night Owl, which I already stitched. My bag had Night Owl, so I traded for this, a Stitcher's Garden. I just love this motif here. I'll probably just stitch that motif and make it a small, but I love this. I cannot with Cheryl, Tiny Modernist. Okay, so those were the things that were in our bag. Was this in our bag? This was in our bag too, maybe. From Rocky Mountain Needle Minders, a little slipper needle minder. And then they came around and gave us a bunch more stuff. So, this was also in our bag. This is a little, this is a needle threader. This was in with the stitch markers that I glued into my journal. So a little needle threader with a shell button glued on it. Very cute. Okay. And then they came around and gave us more stuff. So these are gorgeous. These are Stitch and Stash 25 official needle minders. These are heavy as shit, but look at how pretty. One of them is kind of translucent. I think this one is kind of translucent and this one is solid, but these are absolutely stunning. Like, they're so heavy, but these are beautiful. Beautiful quality. I love those. Like, I can't. They're heavy, but they're fine for like a piece that you would put on a Q-snap or a frame or something. And then they came around and gave us this little bag, Stitch and Stash 2025. Who doesn't need a little bag for their floss? And inside, everyone got 2 skeins of Valdani, variegated Valdani. Valdani was there. I didn't buy any floss, but I did pick up a DMC to Valdani conversion. So I think I'm going to try to design them something for next year that uses Valdani flosses. And I'll show you why in just a minute. We got this, Lady Dot Creates, Stitch and Stash Retreat. This is I think it's an exclusive color that she did. She probably just dyed it just for them. That they came around with later. And I think the reason I say that I think she dyed that color for them is because Cheryl at Tiny Modernist designed this. It's called Meet Me at the Beach. And this calls for, it has a DMC conversion, but it has all called for Valdani. And then it's done on a piece of Oh Boy linen by the Grateful Thread. And I have 3 pieces of Grateful Thread linen here that I'm going to design on later. This, I haven't decided yet what motif, but I think probably one of the flamingos and one of this coral, because I stole the coral off my table. I stole this coral off my table. I'm going to put that onto my retreat spot sampler. And I'm also going to, there were 3 lovely, lovely women who are local to the Edmonton area. They stitched over 100 name tags. I ended up coming home with 2 of them because there were like 5 Michelles at retreat, and one of the Michelles ended up with a name tag without an E on the end. And I was like, oh, we can trade. Like, I don't mind. It doesn't bother me because I'm going to tack this down to my retreat spot sampler, and part of my tacking down, I'll add the extra E, right? No big deal. So then I was talking to the women, and then they made I was talking to the women that did it, and they spent just about 1,300 hours stitching name tags for everyone at the retreat. Can you believe that? 1,300 hours, and they only started in January, and they finished them all in time. So I'll put that one on my retreat spot sampler. And then I told them, I was talking to them and they were like, is that how you spell your name with no E? And I was like, well, no, but I told them the story and she was a little upset about her lack of E and I don't really care. So then they brought me another one and they're like, well, we stitched up a couple blanks because we knew that this would happen. And, so we made you another one. So I'm going to put this one in my journal that I made over the weekend, and I'm going to put this one on my retreat spot sampler. And there art thou happy. This one has blanket stitch around the edge, done by my new friend Sveta. At our table at the Stitch and Stash retreat was Michelle, Megan, Kim, me, Megan, Lisa, Sveta, and Melissa. 13 out of 10, best table ever. Love my table mates. Sveta took all of our name tags home one night and did a blanket stitch around it with sparkly thread. So that's not why I love her, but I love her. So I think that was most of the swag that we got, if I'm not mistaken. And then Michelle had some counting pins that she was handing out. So I got a counting pin. I'll put that in my D2D right here. And then I met another, I did not do a good job writing down people's names, but I met another lovely woman. I think, was this from Erin? I think these are from Erin. 2 more counting pins. So again, these will all go, I might as well just put them in now, right? These will all go in here. Sunshine Stitchers got me hooked on counting pins after the cruise where they taught us all how to make them. I love pins. I'm not going to use them for anything except stick them in stuff, but I love them. Love them. So I got those. And then Kelly, I think Kelly, who made all of the pin cushions, also made scissors fobs for us, which are beautiful. The iridescence on this thing is so great. And we all got little easels. I left one there and I brought one home because when you left, a lot of people would put their little name tag. Like if you left your seat, you leave your name tag on your seat overnight, and so people know who's sitting there, which is cute. I don't know if I really meant to bring that one home or not. And then my friend Laureen, who is Stitcherelle on Instagram, she gave me this gift, which is this is so smart. This is a beautiful postcard. She punched 2 holes in it and put a piece of wire there, and then she put this zipper pull / scissor fob on it, which is lovely. I think she made it. I love Laureen. Laureen is cool. She's just cool. And then I got a really nice thank you card from Kelly and Jean. And so this card and all of these cards and the card announcing next year's thing, which I've already misplaced, this card, are all made by Stampin' Up! By a woman named Gail, and she made all of these for the retreat. So a lot of this retreat was done kind of on a donation basis. Jean and Kelly I didn't get the impression that well, that's not true. They buy a lot of stuff for the retreat, but they also thrive on donations. So if you join the Facebook page and you're like, oh, I have the capacity to do XYZ number of these things for the Halloween retreat, please message them because they just do this out of joy. This is not a business for them. Okay, what did I buy? I bought this cute little tin because why not, right? I need to put things in things. And in this tin, I was saving my tail ends from the weekend. So I don't have very many because I didn't finish anything, but I have a tail end in there from the weekend. And then I bought, these are all from Charlene, who is the Grateful Thread. And they don't really have names because she doesn't do a whole lot of repeating colorways. But this is a piece of 22 count Hardanger. And you know me, when I get into a pink mood, I need my pink fabrics. And I just couldn't leave this there. She's too pretty. So love that. Love that. I had an idea of what to put on this, but now it's out of my head. So it's fine. This, Michelle and I shared. This is 20 count Ada. Michelle Chinook Crafter has the other half of this. So we're fabric twins with this one. Again, what am I going to put on it? I don't know. Maybe a design for the Halloween retreat. But this one really stopped me in my tracks. And I think Michelle has the other half of this too. This is a piece of 32 count linen from Charlene. And this is ice dyed, but it really looks like she laid down pieces of foliage to get this pattern, but she swears she didn't. So I'm thinking that this looks like a witch walking through the woods with some glowy bioluminescent plants around her. Yeah, Hildy? And now that I have the Valdani, I have the whole Valdani to DMC conversion list, which I'm sure you can probably get online. But I have the whole Valdani to DMC conversion list, And I think that's what they're getting. I think they're getting a Hildy for next year. Okay. And then for my class, I alluded to this earlier. I taught a class on journal making. So we made these little journals. I don't have the cover on mine yet because what I would like to put on my cover is this. This is the small that I gave everyone for the class. And if you stitched it fine, it wasn't like, you know me, it's not true homework. But I will release this eventually. So I want to make sure it's on there in a way that I want it on there. Do you know what I mean? And then I think I might even use this. It's a little bit off. I'll find a trim to put around there. But then we came home with a bunch of ephemera as well. And one thing that I really liked, shout out to Lisa, who brought a bunch of stickers and whatnot. So Lisa brought so many stickers and so many trims and so much goodness. There were a few people that brought a lot of ephemera to the class and shared it with everyone else. And that just made everything more fun. These 3 stickers here were from Lisa's ephemera. And then I had these from my cruise class. And I got everyone who took the class to sign my card. So it was kind of a roll call of everyone who was in class. And it's here in the front of my book as a reminder. So I don't stitch a lot of summer stuff, but I'm going to put this in here too. I don't stitch a lot of summer stuff, but maybe this could be the change of that, right? This could be my beachy book. We'll see. We'll see what I do. And then last but certainly not least, my winning. So my door prize that I won, are you ready for this? This woman called Brenda made 30 mini quilts, and this is the one that I won. It was the very last one. Look at the absolute paper piecing on this. Like, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I can't like, if you could zoom in on your screen, like, the corners are so sharp, and this is all batiks, and I love batiks. And then the quilting is so intricate on this. Wade actually hung it up on my filing cabinet, so this is on display. It's not my usual style. It's not my usual colors. I know that, but this is absolutely stunning. I might keep it for a while and then put it up as a charity auction because I think that other people would love this and it would bring a ton of money for charity too. So I think 5 people at my table won mini quilts. And that was incredible. So, okay, I think that's finally everything. And if I missed anything from retreat, I'm sorry, but it was real fun. It was real fun. And I highly encourage, I missed something. It's right here. So a lovely woman who was in my class, called, I think Vanessa? I think it was Vanessa. She came up and gave me this box before class. And I was like, what could this be? And someone had showed me one of these prior to, someone had showed me one of these the day before at the retreat. Her little foot keeps falling off. But do you know Walter, right? My little 3D printed dinosaur. Well, now Walter has a friend. Look at this diva. Look at this. This is a 3D printed frog. Like, a complete 3D printed frog. With articulating limbs. Look at this diva. Gifted to me. Is that amazing? I don't know. I think she made them. I don't know where she got them. I don't know any details about this other than she brought these as table gifts for all of her friends, and I got one too. And I think Cheryl got one too. I think she brought these for the teachers of the classes that she took. So thank you so much. I love this. I think I named it, but I forgot the name. It's looking like a Randolph right now. I don't know. But isn't that crazy? I love it. It's so cool. I'm like 3D printing has got to be like the coolest. Like Randolph even has a ring. Like they have some bling. Okay. So I think that's all. Now I'm pretty sure that's all. So if you were just here for the cross stitch, you made it. If you stayed for the retreat, you got some good stuff. I got a lot of shit to clean up. Freddie or Frederica, Kim says. So we might have already named him. That's okay. Frederica Randolph. I like that name. Let's talk about, we're going to switch gears. If you were just here for the stitching, thank you so much. The stitching is over. We're going to talk about books. I finished a book and started a book, and we're going to talk about my tarot card for the day. So thank you so much if you're just a stitcher. Not just a stitcher. Nobody's just anything. Thank you so much if you are primarily here for the stitching content. I will see you in 2 weeks for more stitching content. And if you're sticking around for the books, I'll see you in just a second. All right, tarot cards. So I drew for the first half of the month. Because this is Pride Month, I wanted to do, I wanted to highlight LGBTQIA2S plus tarot decks and tarot designers. So for the first half of the month, I drew from my Rainbow Tarot by Sonia Lazo. And I love their deck so much. And this has to be also one of my favorite decks. This is called This Might Hurt Tarot Deck by Isabella Rotman. So it says, the This Might Hurt Tarot is a modern deck in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, keeping time-honored symbolism and imagery, but losing the medieval context. This deck is designed to be easy to read and highly relatable. Images are modernized, diversity is embraced, and queerness is lovingly acknowledged. So I love this book. I love this deck, and I love the book that comes with it. So my card today was the Magician. I don't pull the Magician very often. I don't think I pull it very often at all. As a matter of fact, I can tell you how often I've pulled the Magician by looking at I purchased a Notion app for tarot. So this is Tarot Journal. It's called Tarot Journal. I bought it off of Etsy. The wild thing about this page is it doesn't really say who designed it. But anyway, I can show you the Magician. And the last time I pulled the Magician was April 1st, 2024. I've only pulled the Magician twice in my entire pulling of cards. So, the Magician. The gist of it is, this card urges you to dream big. The key is to channel and release the energy that you have in a productive way. It reminds me that we are magic. When the Magician appears, it adds potential to the entire reading. You are creative and powerful. Make it happen. So, it's a good card. It's a good card for today. It's a good card for my life. It's a good card. I am creative and powerful. Make it happen. All right, let's talk books. The first book that I finished is called The Book of Doors. This is by Gareth Brown. And the thing on the title says, or the thing on the cover, it says, this is a stunning fever dream. This book was great. I loved this book. This book was so twisty-turny because it deals with timey-wimey, right? Wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. There are so many twists, and I did not correctly predict a single damn one of them. There were so many. So the idea of the book is there are magical books in the world. And it's the book of, right? So the book of joy, the book of despair, the book of shadows, the book of doors, the book of whatever. And when you hold the book, it gives you a certain power. Okay? And the book of, and there's, some of the books have an inscription on the inside. And the inscription on the inside of the Book of Doors, it says, it's something like, with this book, any door can be every door. And as the protagonist, Cassie, she gets this book, and as she goes through the story, she learns more and more what that really means, that any door can be every door. And of course, there's a great force of evil, and there's morally gray characters, and the ending of this book, I could not. Like, I was already in love with this book, and then the last chapter, I was in love with this book so much, and then the last chapter happened, and I was like, oh, I love it even more. So highly recommended, The Book of Doors. Also, the narrator was fantastic. There were so many characters in this book, and there was one narrator, and she did every voice, and they were all different, and you knew who was speaking before they started, the book told you who was speaking. So definitely recommend The Book of Doors. The next book I started, and this feels so cliche to even be talking about it, but my therapist recommended that I read or listen to Codependent No More. And this is an old book. This is by Melanie Beatty. I'm listening to the 25th anniversary edition. So, codependents are people who are in relationships, romantic or familial or friend or whatever, generally with substance abusers. And you don't start your life as a codependent, but you become a codependent because of the relationships that you circle in. My dad was an alcoholic. And I don't think that I became a controlling everyone else and not themselves person. But my therapist did recommend this book to me. So, outside chance that she knows something I don't. But I'm not very far into this book. It feels a little bit dated. The author narrates the author reads the audiobook, so that's always a plus for me. I'm not very far into it, but my mind is open and I am intrigued by what I've listened to so far. So I will keep going on this. I have it for a little bit longer from my library, and hopefully maybe I will have it finished by the next Flosstube. I don't know. I'd like to start taking more walks, which is a good opportunity for me to listen to a book. But yeah, The Book of Doors was just so good. Codependent No More is going to be definitely more educational for me, I think. But we'll see. It's going to be a good one. I think I will learn a lot. We'll say that. So that was a quick book talk and tarot talk because I'm hungry and it's time for me to go. And I talked a lot today about cross stitch. I know this video is going to be just about an hour, if not a little bit more. So thank you for hanging out. I know there's a ton of Flosstube that you can watch, and you chose to hang out with me, so I appreciate it. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Next week is the 4th of July, which is a holiday here, so we'll be doing stuff and things. If you think you might want to light off fireworks, I would encourage you to instead donate money to an animal shelter because you're stressing them out. The fireworks are stressing out the animals. We don't really need it, right? I think maybe we'll phase out fireworks eventually. They just start forest fires and stress out small animals, humans, and smaller animals. So if you think you might want to buy fireworks, maybe think about a donation to your local Humane Society instead. Just saying. And then I'll see you in 2 weeks so we can talk about more cross stitch. Also, save your tissue paper for your cross stitch journaling. It's a thing. All right, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.